Hello, it is Monday the 22nd of October 2018 and we are on the last full day of caravanning for us in 2018 in all likelihood. Behind us we have Glenn. And is there somebody else?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know I had a queue, but hello.
There's George. And Dizzy's down by my feet.
She's waiting to get up on your lap.
So, yeah, so it's a lovely day. It's a bit chilly. Yesterday, when I was putting the awning up, I had to get stripped down to my t-shirt. Whereas today, it's 3 or 4 layers minimum, though it's lovely and sunny. So we're just having a lovely day out today. We're going to pop down to Titchfield Abbey, just have a wander around, then we'll go into Fareham. But anyway, then back tomorrow to the storage yard. One of the things we thought we would do is chat about what we have learned from our first season in caravanning. But this is about the things that have either confirmed our suspicions or are new to us, things that surprised us about caravanning. And the first one, which is my selection, is that you don't have to spend a lot to have a good time. We have a cheap caravan, currently pulled by the car that we already had, although, watch this space, that might change at some point in the next decade. No, we have plans to replace Boris because it's just not fair on him.
He doesn't like it.
No, he's perfectly capable of pulling, but he
doesn't want to.
No, it's a girl racing car, really. And I'll leave you to guess whose car that means it is.
Mine.
Anyway, well there's a girl racer in the back there.
Hey. Hello, Georgie.
Anyway, so we didn't pay a lot for the caravan. We didn't pay anything extra for the car. We had to spend a bit of money on having a tow bar put on, which will be shortly being removed in all likelihood. And aside from, various minor expenses over the year, we haven't had to spend very much at all. And yet we have had a great time. Last night it was a bit parky, and yet we were toasty because I'd sort of discovered how the blown air heating works, but I hadn't realised you can adjust the vent so it comes out quicker, and it warmed up really fast. So it's a 22-year-old caravan. There's no problem with the heating. There's no problem with the hot water. It's absolutely piping hot. We got a cheap awning, which we'll talk about a bit later, and we've been able to do lots of cheap days out. So we have ended up, I think, did we calculate we've actually had 3 weeks worth?
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks worth. Now normally we only get a week away in any normal holiday season, so we have already tripled the amount of leisure time that we've spent together. So that is worth its weight in gold. So our first lesson, number 1, is you don't have to spend a lot to have a good time. One of the other great things about caravanning is it brings you closer to the secret things in our own country, our own countryside. We're here at Titchfield Abbey, which is an English heritage site, but it's free to get into. And it's a lovely little place. Formerly an abbey and then turned into a Tudor residence. Apparently, Henry VIII, Elizabeth I, Edward VI, I think, and maybe even William Shakespeare stayed here. So, this one is not far from Rookesbury, and actually, it's not a million miles from where we live, but we wouldn't probably never have bothered to drive this far, because it's probably about an hour from where we live, and yet we've discovered this lovely little gem in the English countryside. Largely helped by the fact that we've got a caravan in a field. We don't want to sit and do nothing all afternoon. What a lovely place on a beautiful day.
Hi everyone, my name's George, this is Kevin and Peter, and we're going to be sharing with you 10 things we have learnt about caravanning. Now, number 1 and 2, holidays on the cheap and finding new places, is already done. Number 3, to check the nose weight.
What's the nose weight, George?
I don't know. George doesn't know what the nose weight is.
Apparently not.
He's trying to. I can imagine him going like that on a pair of scales, trying to weigh his nose.
Yes. Okay.
To be fair to us, we did check the nose weight initially when we first set off, and it was fine. The nose weight influences how stable the caravan is when you're driving. What we hadn't done was check it after we'd put a brand new 6 kilogram gas cylinder in the front locker. And so we found it was pretty wobbly on the way up to Milton Keynes. Although we'd got it down to a reasonable level. Our car can only accept up to 75 kilos, which is quite low, and this caravan appears to be quite front heavy. But we've discovered that we have to take all of those, you see those drawers there on the front there?
These ones.
When they've got stuff in them, they have to be put into the middle of the caravan in order to make the weight. But anyway, so we now check the nose weight regularly. Theoretically, once you've done it once, you shouldn't have to keep doing it. But, of course, if you add a 6 kilogram gas bottle, which will weigh about 12 kilos in total when you include the metal, that's going to make a big difference because it's right on the nose. So, number 3 was check the nose weight. What's the next one, George?
The next one is number 4. New tyres make a huge difference.
That's probably been the biggest difference, isn't it?
Amazing difference.
Amazing. It was absolutely
Because
massive. Bigger than
we're
Galactus.
currently at Rookesbury, which was the place we came to for our first trip of the year. Because it's got really nice hard standings, very easy to get to everything here, and it's a really lovely site. But when we came the first time, we had the old tyres on. I'd been assured that they were fine, but I discovered mid-season that they were not. They were 9 years old. And but there's a road that approaches Rookesbury.
Through Droxford.
Is it?
Yeah. Through Droxford with a very bumpy bit of road.
Yeah, some of it's obvious, you can see it, but a lot of it isn't. It's just that the road undulates very, very much, so it's very, very springy. That wasn't nearly as bad this time as it was in the past, and that was purely down to the new tyres. We've got new proper van tyres on there, properly inflated and torqued up. And it's been that and getting the nose weight right have made a massive difference to the pleasure.
Yeah, and also the arrival, because prior to having the tyres replaced, we used to find the contents. Anything that was in a cupboard would be on the floor when we arrived, but since we've had the tyres done, everything stays in the cupboard. So
it's generally accepted that you should either have your tyres properly checked. I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? Or you just get new tyres when you buy a used caravan. But as I said, we had asked someone who ought to know, and he said they were fine. They weren't fine, so we will not be making that mistake again.
they were 9 years not fine.
Yeah. They were just, the side walls were clearly going, because even though they were inflated to the proper pressure, you could see them sort of, the last straw was when we were at Morn Hill, and I saw them compress when Peter was driving over a speed bump, and that was that. They were changed immediately. That was number 4, when George is ready.
Don't take your hoodie off.
Why not? I've done it.
Number 5.
Number 5, to take it slowly.
Yeah, it's quite tempting to want to drive a car with a caravan on the back in the same way that you drive the car without the caravan on the back.
Can I concentrate?
Yes.
And I've had to catch myself a couple of times driving just a little bit faster than was warranted.
Yeah, like 1 mile an hour too fast, probably.
Well, like I would be going at, I mean, normally on a country lane you might be doing 55, 60 maybe, but that just isn't, on your average Hampshire country lanes. Well, not even country lanes, but roads.
A roads.
They're too narrow for that, and also that you feel the bumps. So,
and it's just accepting that speed, isn't it, and not worrying about whether you've got cars behind you, because when we first started towing, we did not like it at all, and we felt that the journey to get there was stressful. But if you just accept the speed you're going at and not worry if you've got cars behind, we were always, there's a queue of cars behind.
Yeah.
Don't worry if you've got cars behind you. They will get there where they're going when they get there too, and just take the pace down a couple of notches.
And hopefully you don't have an annoying mother who carries on talking about the weather and every other possible thing ever, and sheep, in the back of the car
Peter and
talking
George
about literally
share
everything.
many things, and one of those is they talk a lot when they're
No, I
nervous.
don't. I don't talk a
wound
lot
up.
when I'm nervous. I don't talk a lot. I promise. I don't talk a lot when I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous.
How do you feel in the back when we're towing, George?
I feel I'm not actually that nervous because I'm not the one driving, and all the responsibility of driving and not crashing isn't on my shoulders. It's on his.
Does it
Makes
feel
me
any
little
different
nervous.
when we're driving normally?
Yes, it does. It
Does
feels
it?
like there's massive parachutes just trailing behind.
When
I
you're
mean,
in the back, can you feel
Does
it
it
differently?
feel
Yeah.
like a bumpier ride, or
It feels like a bumpy ride, definitely.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'd definitely worry more if, say, Mum was driving. I think
That's not fair.
No, seriously.
Okay,
though.
we're going off topic
Dad's
now.
a bit of a better driver.
Mum is just as good a driver as me, at least. Anyway.